All right, so we're still in part one, almost through with part one, but we're still there in Grenade by Alan Gratz, and we're back to Hideki speaking. And he is on this mission to find his sister because that's what his dad's dying words were. You've got to find your sister. It's just the two of you left from this family. You have to protect her. And the only place he knows of, the last place that he knew his sister was alive, was her school. So he figures that's a good starting point. Go to the school, look into it, see if anyone there knows where she might be, or maybe she's still there. And when he gets there instead, what he finds is the remains of the school, that the American soldiers have bombed it, and most of the students, well, any of the students that are still there, are dead. The bodies are still laying around, they're still dead. And it's a pretty traumatizing sight, as you could imagine, just to walk in and see that. And most people would just leave, which is exactly what he wants to do. Like it says he would have retched if he'd had anything in his stomach. If you don't know what retched means, that's that like gagging noise right before you vomit. Like he would have started vomiting if he had eaten anything, but he had nothing in his stomach, so there was nothing to vomit. Instead, he can't leave, though, because he has to find his sister. And if he just leaves, he has no way of knowing if she was in there dead. So he has to walk through and look at the face of every dead body in that room to see if they're his sister, which just adds to the trauma. I can't imagine what he would have been feeling. But he goes through and he's doing this, and he realizes that none of the people are his sister. So he has kind of this mixed emotions, right? He's really happy because none of these dead bodies are his sister. But he's also sad because one, he doesn't know where his sister is, and there's still a lot of other people that died in that room. And he looks around, he sees where presumably a picture of the emperor has been taken because somebody has to protect it. But they left the picture of the schoolgirls. And he's like, all right, I got to go on. I got to go find my sister. He finds this letter that says where she's been sent. It's in the southern part of the island. That's where he's got to go, but that's where the Americans are. So he's a little nervous about it. And as he's getting ready to go and thinking about it, he hears people talking. And those people are American soldiers. And he's pretty afraid. He grabs his grenade. That's his job, kill these American soldiers. But he realizes, probably very wisely, that let's say there's 10 soldiers, I might be able to kill one or two, and then they're going to kill me. And I won't be able to find my sister. I won't be able to do anything else. It'll be pretty pointless. So instead, he decides to hide, which I don't know about you, but here's what I thought of. His Shigatomo that had this cowardice, and he was all worried about that he would have that. And his dad's, one of the last things his dad said was, no, he was really brave. You'll realize that one day. That's exactly what I thought of here, is that to hide would technically be cowardice at this time, but what he's doing is really brave because he knows there's something bigger he has to do. He has to stay alive for that, so he has to pretend to be dead. So he sits at one of the desks, slumps over, acts like he's one of the dead students as well, throws his cap on the ground because that's a dead giveaway that he's a soldier and not one of these students. And instead, the American soldier comes in, doesn't see him, but stares at this picture of the students and wants to take it with him, and he doesn't understand why. And even before the other soldier called his name, you should have had a hint that this American soldier was Ray, our other main character in this book. Because we've already learned that Ray likes to collect the photos from people that have died in this war and soldiers as a way to remember that they are people. We're not just killing random enemies. He doesn't want to demonize these people. He wants to remember that all of these people had families and had a purpose for what they were doing as well. So he's looking at the picture and we hear someone say Ray. And I know you might have been thinking like, okay, but they spelled Ray wrong. But this would have been the Japanese version. So since this is Hideki's version of the story, he's going to spell it and say it as if it was a Japanese word because he doesn't know English. He doesn't know that they're saying the name Ray in English. So he's hearing somebody call Ray, and Ray leaves. So now we know that our two characters are not only close to each other, but they are literally in the same room.